A lot of Halo fans would say that there is a worst Halo game or that a game is bad. I personally don't agree. In my opinion, there has never been a bad Halo game. There have been games I don't like as much as others, but I would never say there has been a bad Halo game. And today I wanted to talk about my least favorite Halo game and the one I honestly always forget about, ODST. ODST is a weird game for me because I like this game and it's nice seeing another side of the Human Covenant War. However, it also feels very shoehorned in and feels like it's trying to force its way into the Halo universe and kind of retconning events from Halo 2 and 3. It's even more confusing because so many Halo fans claim this game is the gold standard for Halo and was when Halo was at its best. And I just don't see it. And honestly, it kind of feels like DLC for Halo 3. Hell, it even has Halo 3 in the title. So, ODST takes place after the mission Metropolis from Halo 2, and we see a group of ODST troopers looking at a Covenant ship, planning on dropping onto it, which I think this is the Prophet of Regret ship, so them saying how they left that last for them is kind of weird since the Master Chief and in Amber Clad would literally fighting their way to it. We get introduced to each team member before our character, the Rookie, is woken up, and we prepare to drop into the city.
Captain, 15 clicks off the deck.
Stand by to adjust trajectory. On my mark.
What'd she just say?
Mark.
We're way off course.
We're heading exactly where I need to go.
But we're gonna miss the carrier. Radiation! Covenant just set off a nuke?
No, the carrier's going to jump. It's a slip-space rupture ignition.
EMP, losing power. They blocked their chutes. We're going in hard.
So this intro, I think, is really cool, and compared to all the other Halo games, other than Halo 5's opening, is probably the most epic, with us dropping in from the sky, only for Regret's ship to go into slip space and throw us off course. We wake up hours later, and after escaping the drop pad, we now enter gameplay, and we are able to wander around and explore New Mombasa. This is something about ODST that is unlike every other Halo game. This game is semi-open world, and really the first time Halo allowed you to explore. I know people say Combat Evolved was open world or semi-open world, but it wasn't. The areas was just big, but there was nothing, but there was ever anything to explore or find. New Mombasa is a city you can walk around and explore. However, it always felt kind of weird to me because honestly, it doesn't feel like Halo. Being able to explore New Mombasa is one of the things that fans of this game love, and they use as a example of why this game is the gold standard Halo should follow, to the point I've heard people complain about Halo 4 going back to the original formula instead of allowing us to explore Requiem, but I've never been that much of a fan of this because it feels unnecessary. It isn't like Zeta Halo in Infinite, which feels empty and feels like an open world for open world's sake, but it feels like something that shouldn't be in a Halo game. It does feel kind of like you have two different games with the city bit and then the actual missions, because truthfully, until the end of the game, there's really nothing special or important about these moments. Yeah, you can explore the city, which Halo hasn't allowed you to do before at this point, but there's really no point other than seeing a city that's been destroyed by the Covenant with no sign of survivors. I don't think you even come across a single human throughout the game while exploring outside of a story mission. With it also being night, it is also really hard to see, so you mainly have a kind of night vision mode on most of the time, which is fine and cool and it's kind of haunting, but really this is really the only way you can see where you're going. Whenever you are exploring the city, you play as the Rookie, who so many Halo fans love and defend to the point they got super pissed off when he was killed off in a book. However, I never cared about the Rookie because he isn't a character. He is just someone for the player to control. The Rookie honestly reminds me a lot of any Bethesda character, or really any silent protagonist, where they don't really have anything to them other than what you, the player, decide, because they're supposed to be a vessel for the player. It's why I find those posts asking which Fallout protagonist you like more to be ridiculous, because other than Fallout 4, none of the characters you play as are actual characters. Yes, we are given some backstory on like the courier, for example, but my courier will always be different than your courier, and same goes for the characters in Fallout 3 or 76 or any other Bethesda game. To act like these are actual characters, I feel like is weird because they aren't, and it's a unfortunate problem with most silent protagonists, with only a few of them actually working being silent protagonists that you end up caring about. Having your character be a silent protagonist can be nice because it makes us, the player, feel like we are the character. Unfortunately, it doesn't allow us to actually grow attached to them or care about them, unless we get notes from them that allow us to get a look at their personality and give us an idea of who these characters are. However, with the rookie, we don't get anything. The entire time we are exploring the city, we don't learn anything about the rookie. We don't get an idea about who he is. He doesn't talk at all. He is just there, which unfortunately makes me, the player, just uninterested in him. It makes me confused why so many Halo fans hold him up so highly, to the point I think people like the rookie more than any other character we played as in Halo, whether it's Normal Six or even Master Chief himself. At least with characters like Normal Six or even Locke in Halo 5, they have a voice and have a personality, and we can very clearly grow attached to these characters. Even with how reserved Chief is in the early Halo games, with us not really seeing his more human side until 343's Halo, he still had personality and was still a character for us, the player, to like and come attached to when he did speak. And he did have a sense of humor or say what needed to be said. ODST goes back to how Combat Evolves gameplay, where you have an energy shield which would be depleted quickly, and then you have a health bar. However, instead of an energy shield, you have stamina, which means you get hit. When you get hit, your screen turns red for a little bit. Unlike in the other Halo games, you aren't playing as a Spartan or a elite, but instead just a normal human soldier. So this game is a little harder than other Halo games, and you can die a lot quicker because of that. However, the biggest thing is how much further you throw grenades. I have no clue why the arc your character has when you throw a grenade is so much in this game. It's great, and it makes you actually have to be kind of careful of throwing them because you don't want to waste them in case you need it later on. The weapons in this game are very much all the same from Halo 3, however the battle rifle isn't in this game for some reason. And there are a few different details for like how a normal soldier reloads a weapon compared to a Spartan, especially Covenant weapons. However, the two new guns that this game added were the Silenced SMG and the Magnum. While the Magnum isn't new, it's been in every Halo game. However, for the first time since Combat Evolved, it is actually useful and also extremely good in this game. The Silenced SMG is also good and a cool, unique weapon for the ODST troopers to use that we never get to use again other than this game.
Tell us her name, Gunny?
Ms. Naval Intelligence. Our new boss. So check your mouths, find your chairs, and get set for a combat drop.
We reach a building overlooking a courtyard and find a helmet of Veronica Dare, who joined our squad shortly before the game started, and we enter the first official mission of this game. For the first mission, we play as Buck, and while I have problems with ODST, adding Nathan Fillion as Buck is one of the best things ever and one of the coolest Halo characters, and he becomes even cooler when he came back in Halo 5. So we have to fight and help Dare out of her pod, and unlike when you're exploring New Mombasa as the rookie, this feels like an actual Halo game now, and it feels like the game switches from a completely different game once you go back to being the rookie. It just feels so weird. However, this mission is actually really good, and honestly, all the missions in this game are. However, very quickly, a big problem shows up with this game, where it very much feels like this game is retconning or trying to force itself into the narrative of the original Halo games.
Veronica, what's with all the dead elites?
What do you mean?
Looks like a family feud, like they were killed by brutes. Is there something I should know?
It's classified.
Some things never change.
So you find some bodies of some dead elites and brutes, and both times Buck will ask what happened, even ask Dare if something is happening. However, by this point in the Halo story, the Covenant Civil War has not started yet, and the elites aren't on humanity's side yet. So Buck shouldn't care at all about seeing dead elites, but the game wants to pretend they have switched sides by this point. This game starts in the middle of Halo 2, and this mission is immediately after Regret's ship warps away, and this game is saying that not even in a span of 3 seconds, Master Chief has killed the Prophet of Regret. The Brutes replace the elites as the Prophet's guards. The Arbiter is sent to get the index. He fights Johnson and Miranda for the index. However, according to this game, they would already be allies, so they shouldn't be fighting. Tartarus betrays the Arbiter, telling him the Prophets ordered him to do it. Chief gets teleported and fights through High Charity, where he sees the Covenant Civil War started, and leaves Cortana behind while he rushes to catch up with the Prophet of Truth. Meanwhile, the Arbiter is teleported to Halo and helps save Johnson, where him and the Arbiter team up to stop Tartarus from firing Halo, and only once Tartarus is dead and Halo is stopped, then do the elites become allies with humanity. However, according to ODST, all of that happened in the span of 3 seconds before Buck got put out of his pod, and it feels so forced and feel like they only did this because they reused everything from Halo 3 and just didn't want to program the elites to be evil. And I'm honestly surprised the same people who complain that we can't play as elites in multiplayer for the 343 games have no problem with them not even being in this game, and Halo 2's story kind of being messed with. Which these same people will say Halo 2 has the best story and is the best Halo, yet they have no problem with this. We eventually reach Dare's drop pod, but she isn't in it, and we return to the present day as the rookie, and we need to now find the next sign telling us what happened to our squad. So ODST doesn't have a multiplayer mode because it's basically an add-on for Halo 3. However, it is the game that introduced one of the best things in Halo with the mode of Firefight, which is basically just horde mode, but is so much fun and trying to last as long as possible, which each round getting harder by equipping a new skull is so much fun.
You hear from Mickey, Dutch?
Negative.
We need to get above this crap. Link with the B-net. One of our drones must have seen where they hit.
After fighting a destroy drone, we enter the second mission and we play as Dutch. No, not that Dutch. And this mission is kind of disappointing, and it doesn't really help that you can basically rush through this entire mission without fighting a single enemy. We have to fight our way to the Colonel, and this brute full-on pulls a Kuze with how he drives the chopper. And after the space elevator is destroyed, we have to escape and drive off a cliff leading to New Mombasa, which honestly feels so weird going from kind of open area straight into the city. Feels like something out of Power Rangers.
Citizens, your neighbors are resisting. A popular uprising is inflicting heavy casualties on the invaders. We will prevail.
How are we gonna get across this bridge? It's packed!
Good manners and pointy elbows.
Jeez, Brent. The things you do for a kiss.
What?
I said I won't let you down, miss!
Right. Excuse us.
Hey,
Sorry.
step aside.
Please.
Police business.
It's an emergency.
Coming through.
Let
Look
us
out.
through.
Step aside, people.
You know, if the panicked mobs would just stay in nice, neat lines, we'd... Watch it. Get across this bridge a lot faster.
Do you hear that?
What? The water? Don't tell me you're afraid of heights.
Pelican dropship. Hard to see through all the smoke, but it's heading our way.
Virgil, got eyes in the sky. Not good. Cane tapping, seeing eye dog. Means Virgil can't see it.
And who do we know who likes to travel off the grid?
There's a police dropship.
We can't all fit on that.
Where's you? I'm getting on base.
Oh, crap.
Hello, Sadie. Remember me?
Thing you can find throughout New Mombasa, which makes the semi-open world part of this game worth it, is you can find audio logs throughout the city, which allows you to experience what the Covenant invasion of the city was like for a normal human. However, it can be kind of hard to hear what is happening or what they are saying. The next mission we play as Mickey, and this level is very much driving a tank and fighting throughout the streets with the tank, which is fun, but the problem is the tank can get caught on other cars or on debris that is on the road and can cause the tank to stand straight up and show off to the Covenant. We eventually reach Dutch, and after fighting our way to him, we have to hold our ground, and before a police officer shows up asking if Dutch or Mickey know how to use explosives, they head off to the next mission. Even though this is my least favorite Halo game, I do really like the music that this game has, especially whenever you return to being the rookie or while you're exploring the city. I think it's when the music is at its best when you are playing as the rookie, because it gives off kind of like a haunting but lonely vibe while you make your way throughout the city. Dutch and Mickey are setting the explosives on the bridge to an OD building, and even though he was right next to the button, this dude just refuses to press the detonator until I had to myself. Like, come on, man! We have to fight at the front of the Oni building, and something that is very noticeable with every mission is that they basically all end up being the Firefight game mode. So many missions, once you reach the part of the map where you can fight in Firefight, the game has you hold your ground and defend your position, which once you notice this, it just feels weird. Reach kind of did this as well, but not as much. Not as much, and it wasn't that much of a problem. Just once you notice it, you can't really unnotice it in this game. During cutscenes, the rookie will always hold a silenced SMG, and while this is something every Halo game has done, with making Chief always holding a assault rifle in cutscenes, and Normal 6 will always have a DMR, Locke will always have a battle rifle, Halo 2 is the only game where it doesn't replace whatever weapon you have in the cutscene. And honestly, ODST should have done this, especially since the entire storyline of the rookie is being trapped in a city overrun with the Covenant having to scrape by and fight his way through. While this wouldn't be a big thing, it would be nice to see the rookie holding other weapons other than the SMG to show that he is having to rely on other weapons since he's by himself fighting through the city.
Clear?
Yeah, we're good.
Hey, rookie, you out there? Respond, that's an order.
Give it up, Gunny. Even if he ain't dead, he's lost in that soup. Our comms can't cut through that.
Oh, give up, huh? What if it were you down there?
Just saying. I ain't dead.
You're a piece of work, Romeo.
Welcome aboard, ladies. First stop anywhere but here.
Banshees, on your 6! Hit the deck!
We're losing her. Watch out!
Mickey, Dutch! Status! Alive or dead, we're pulling them out. You hear me?
We switch to the police station where we play as Romeo and we have to fight through in order to reach Mickey and Dutch. And after fighting off the Covenant, Romeo is wounded by a gravity hammer boot, and Buck says he knows another way out. The music of this game is amazing, but another great thing about this game's audio design is when it's dead quiet. Walking throughout the city with no music playing really brings in the haunting and lonely feeling of exploring and fighting through New Mombasa on your own. There is no one else as you walk through the destroyed city, and the complete dead silence of a city that before the Covenant invaded would have had noise surrounding it all the time. Buck gives Romeo some first aid, allowing him to be able to breathe and move, and after seeing that the train system destroyed, Buck has a new plan of capturing a Phantom. After getting the Phantom, we have to follow in a Banshee, and I feel like Dutch is the first character in Halo who is a Christian and prays to God and references the Bible, and the game completely bugged out on me, so I had to start the mission over, and we have to fight a Scarab, which I forgot we fought in this game. And after escaping the tunnels, Buck jumps into the Phantom and figures out where he can find Veronica, and the rookie also picks up Veronica on the radio.
Can anyone hear me? This is Captain Veronica Dare. My beacon is active. Need immediate assistance. Someone, please respond.
So we head down to the tunnels and we have our first actual mission as the rookie, which is just fighting your way to Veronica. And while I think this game is good and is a nice spin-off, it's at this point that my feelings for this game go from good to mixed. This game has been fine up until this point, but Veronica is the worst character in this game. She lies to the entire squad about what the mission is, and puts all of them at risk, only to blow up at Buck for abandoning the mission that Buck didn't know about. But it's not just Veronica that I really don't like, it's also the engineer.
Don't shoot. We've seen them before on other ops, but we've never gotten this close. Best we can tell, they're prisoners or slaves. Either way, they don't like the Covenant any more than we do. I spotted this one in the tunnels. Watched it access comm lines, security cameras, traffic controls, you name it. Eventually it holed up here. Oni calls them engineers. Believes they're some sort of biological supercomputers. If I'm right, this one has taken the superintendent's data and combined it with its own. Everything we want to know about the Covenant, what they're looking for into the city, is right in here. Damn! Buggers must have raised the alarm. Buck!
Veronica? Where the hell are you?
Data center, but we're coming out.
We?
No time to explain, but do not, I repeat, do not shoot anything pink.
Whatever you say, just come on!
Those brutes are here for the engineer. They'll kill it if they get the chance. You, stay behind me, okay?
The engineer feels the most shoehorned in, and unlike the moment with the dead elites, which while it messes with Halo 2's story a little, you can totally miss if you don't go towards it. However, the engineer feels so forced in, and feels like the game is trying to use the engineer to undermine Master Chief's actions. ODST wants to say that it's because of the engineer why humanity won against the Covenant, and that this was the true turning point in the war. However, to me, the turning point was Master Chief destroying Halo. And yes, the Covenant found Earth, but the turning point in a war doesn't mean that one side stops losing battles. Even with the Covenant fighting Earth, the Master Chief killed the Prophet of Regret, which caused a massive effect, which ultimately caused the Brutes and Elites to fight and turn on each other, and ultimately caused the Elites to side with humanity. To say that it was actually because of a kind of alien that we have never seen in any previous Halo game, that we don't ever see again, and I'm surprised that for a fan base that cries all the time about 343 ruining X thing about Halo, no one seems to have a problem with ODST undermining Chief's actions. Yes, he wasn't the only reason humanity won, but he is the reason, and to act like it was because of something else is just weird.
To move, now. Were you too busy to plan our exit?
I stole a Phantom, yes, thank you. I hid it in the shipyards down the highway. But I only have room for two, so that thing's gonna have to sit on your lap.
The engineer. Where did it go? Keep me covered. And try to keep up.
Take my advice, rookie. You ever fall for a woman?
Make sure she's got balls.
We have to make it to Coastal Highway, and because Halo 3 ended with a section where you were in a Warhog, so does ODST, but it's not as fun and involves a lot more waiting while you're waiting for Veronica to get to the door.
Whoa! What just happened?
Buck, I died. That's what happened. We have to be on this highway for such a long time, and we get better vehicles as we're going down it, like the Goshawk, and eventually a tank, but it doesn't make this part any better until we reach the end. And we have one more holding our ground firefight section until the rest of our squad gets here.
For replacements, men make one hell of a team.
Just nice to know they really do listen. Come on, let's get out of this city.
I feel like this game acts like the squad grew as the game progressed because they are all replacements. However, I never got that from any character in this game, and Veronica's line here is very odd because not once did this squad seem like they weren't capable of working together at all. After getting the engineer on board the Phantom, we fly out of there, and that's the end of ODST, which isn't a bad game, but it is my least favorite Halo game. I think my biggest problem with this game is that it tries to force itself into the Halo story in between Halo 2 and 3, But because it's tied to Halo 3, it messes with Halo 2's story a little. And I also just don't care about the engineer, which never shows up again other than being reused in Reach, which even though I love that game, I feel like that game did a lot of the same things level-wise that this game did. Like, to an extent, not as bad as ODST. If it was just a standalone spinoff, I don't think I would have too much of a problem with the story, but even then, it's not terrible. It just feels very weird when you think about the franchise, the story as a whole, and even if it's the Halo game I always forget about, it is still fun to come back to from time to time.
Looks like they found what they're looking for.
What about you? What about us?
Win this war? Then ask me that again.